If you liked that, then you'll love this.
Hey, how you
Hi,
doing, bud?
good to see you. Good to meet you. Glad to
Good to
be here.
meet you too. I am a huge fan of yours. Loved your work in Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Mask. I can't
Thank you.
say enough about your work. I'm a huge fan, and I'm really excited to talk to you about Witchboard.
Oh, great. Have you seen it?
Yes, I actually watched it yesterday, and I absolutely enjoyed it. It was such a great reimagining of this cult classic I grew up watching as a kid, and to see it come to life again in a new form is just brilliant.
Thank you. We seem to be really entertaining the first audiences here. We've had special screenings for it, so I'm delighted.
That's awesome. So what brought about the idea to bring this classic back to life, in a new form? What was the inspiration for it?
For me, it started with the fact that I meant to return to horror. I didn't mean to take this long. I originally started in horror with the films you mentioned, well, Elm Street 3 and The Blob, and I was being offered all kinds of horror films. I was thrilled because I was a first-time director on Nightmare on Elm Street 3, but I didn't want to get stuck in the genre. But I always meant to return to horror. I wanted to do comedy. I did The Mask with Jim Carrey, and I wanted to do action. I got to work with Dwayne Johnson and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Ultimately, I always meant to return, but timing is everything.
Yeah.
So for me, this is in my mind anyway, this is the third in a trio of reimaginings of classic horror. Witchboard's an important film in pop culture. But yet, like The Blob, I felt it could have a big update. And I could do something I'd never seen before, bring something original to the audiences in a format that deserved another resonant reboot.
Yeah, one thing I found interesting though was especially the board itself, because the original film had the Ouija board, and this one it has this brand new looked like a different type of board, but it looked like it was still like a little game in a way, like because as you're messing with the thing, it points to a certain.
Yes, yes. And look, we want to engage the audience. And it's ironic that you're saying something new because the pendulum board is centuries old. It goes back to ancient Egypt. The reason people haven't heard about it as much in contemporary times is the French Pope outlawed them in the 1700s, and they were burning women at the stake as witches for having them. And it was directly a direct evolution into Ouija boards going into the late 1800s. That is the history of the Ouija board, is the pendulum. Pendulum boards were used more for spell casting, divination, and contacting spirits. Most of them don't have letters on them, but you'll see astrological signs. We used ancient symbols. I was very cautious because they do summon things. So the symbols I use have interpretations like tarot. They are ancient symbols. I can go over every one of them. I wanted to be responsible in my depiction. But there are good interpretations and bad interpretations. Life, death. There is a yes and no, but it leads the audience, I think, deeper into kind of solving the puzzle and the mystery of what that pendulum board is.
That's interesting. That's the first time I've heard of it. So now I feel like watching, having seen the movie, now I got a bit of history of how the Ouija board came about, and it's just amazing to hear this actually existed in its different form of history. That's why I
I
mentioned
see
it was
your
new.
cat. Sorry to interrupt you. I see your cat lurking behind you. We
Yeah.
we brought the cat. I wanted to use the which is familiar. Everything in Witchboard actually has a historical precedent, as crazy as it is. And I wanted to get into cats. My production team was like, cats they cannot be trained, they cannot be seen on film. House cats. I guess lions and tigers are a different story. But I'm very happy with when the cat shows up in Witchboard, the shit's about to hit the fan.
Yeah, I like that. It felt like it was like a MacGuffin in a way. Like you knew that once the cat comes, like it had that premonition. And I gotta tell you, I've been a fan of Madison Iseman since Jumanji, and this was
She
by far one of the best roles she's played yet.
she was amazing, and that leads me to the fact that everything you're seeing with Madison's character was a practical effect. There were no elements added later. So I built her character's bedroom and bathroom set 8 feet in the air on stage. So when those, it's kind of a giveaway, but it's in the trailer. When those hands burst up out of the bed, There were 19 puppeteers under a bed that was 8 feet in the air on the platform set.
Oh wow.
So she was brave and kept saying, "Do you want another take, Chuck?" But that's a very strange feeling, lying in a bed, knowing someone else's control with puppeteers with a little TV monitor under that set, grabbing her, roughly. These gigs are safe, but practical effects take the actors to another level of performance because there's a tension and a
Yeah.
fear that really exists when you're doing full scale practical effects in a horror film that
Oh
I
yeah.
think is communicated to an audience the way I could never do it with a green screen stage.
Yeah, exactly. I love practical effects. I mean, growing up as a kid watching these horror films with the practical effects, I feel like sometimes the CGI, if it's done right, it can work, but other times it feels like the CGI takes away the reality of the nature of the film itself.
I love CGI. I had the opportunity to help pioneer it in The Mask, but in the horror genre in particular, it's a great tool for cleaning things up, which I used it
Yeah,
in this case to clean things up. But the elements were not added later. They all happened real, including our cat I just mentioned. It takes a little more time and care on the set itself, but the results become a little more timeless. Some of my older films are still popular, I think, because of practical effects.
yeah,
They hold up quite well.
definitely. And I got kudos also has to go to Aaron Dominguez. He was great as Kristen. What I really liked was their relationship because, Madison's character is she's a drug. We find out she's a former drug addict that's just trying to get her life back on the straight and narrow. And Aaron is the guy who's trying to help her through that path. And yeah, he has a bit of conflict with his ex-girlfriend in a way, and to see these elements come together, people could say it was a love triangle. I did not see really a love triangle. I see someone who's the relationship didn't work out, but I'm in some ways you still can be there for that person, and that's what I saw with Melanie's character.
It is part of the homage to the original. In the original, there's a love triangle with two guys and a girl. So I flipped it to two girls and a guy, both
Yeah,
with a relationship. And both Madison and Mel Yarnick, who is amazing in the film, um, uh, take great advantage of that and keep us guessing what's going to happen next. And Aaron Dominguez, to me, is a new rising star. I think he does a terrific job in the film.
oh, he did. And Jamie Campbell Bower, I can't say enough about him. I've seen him in many things, and here he's really good. And I like his three little henchwomen. They kind of remind me of the twins in the Matrix with the white hair and all. And I know they're supposed to be like in a way witches, but they had that look that reminded me of the twins in the Matrix sequels because it's like they're very unpredictable and you don't know what's going to happen with them next. So I gotta say, great job on their parts as well.
Thank you. And when you look at the film again, our actresses are twins, but I added the third one. So the fact that it's a triplet is done with our visual effects. But the I wanted to have a sensuality in this film because I think there was a sensuality about witchcraft, especially about Wiccans that present themselves as white witches, which means basically positive intentions. Uh, Dark magic is negative intentions. All of magic is cautionary. I don't recommend it to my audience
No.
or pendulum boards, or especially not Ouija boards.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, that's why it's a horror film, folks. It's not recommended.
Yeah, and the even the flashback scenes were amazing, and we get to see Nagasoth's backstory, and I really like that because from you first see her, you know that she's a witch, but then there's this one scene where she's helping a villager out, and I thought to myself, she's not that bad of a person, but that bishop is ruthless, and I get why he did it, but at the same time, I'm thinking, Nagasoth wasn't doesn't didn't seem that bad of a person at first, but I feel
In
like the
in
bishop,
those days, um, homeopathic cures were confused with witchcraft. Anything people
yeah,
don't understand. So I literally I wanted to know more. I think the best villains in cinema in general are villains who we understand their motivation as well as the hero. If they're relentlessly connected to revenge, it's why I gave Freddy Krueger a more clear backstory in the third Elm Street. Is suddenly you know why he'll never stop from revenge. Uh, we did the same thing with Nagasoth in this film. Maybe she didn't start as an evil person.
yeah,
There's a line in the film that Antonio Despot delivers brilliantly, where she's being stoned and she's holding her ruined eye, saying, "If it's a witch you want, it's a witch you'll get."
Yeah, that line struck
In,
me. That's when
in,
you knew. Yeah,
I mean, maybe it's a spoiler, but it's a turning point, and
it is.
this is a horror film. It's not a nice it's not a nice witch. You see how a good woman in medieval times may have actually turned to the most powerful dark power she can find. Thus, the pendulum board is created.
Yeah, and there's quite a few twists in this movie. I'm not going to spoil it, but there were some pretty good twists in the second half, especially with what happens. And I was stunned
No,
by
no,
it.
no
No
spoilers.
spoilers though, no spoilers. But I will say, when they see this movie, I hope they're going to be as stunned as I was when I saw the twists. And overall, it was a great film. How long did shooting take on this? And did you face any challenges on set besides probably the usual time or budgetary or any like physical challenges?
There are always challenges. I mean, I don't want to be corny, but there are also opportunities with those challenges.
Yeah,
Uh, was an independent film, and I've gotten a lot of compliments. It looks like one of my big studio pictures. So I know the craft, and it's how do I do it, in 35 days? How do I do this where I don't have any stages to work on? It's all well, we did one or two set pieces, but 90% of the film, practical locations, practical effects. One of the reasons we shot in Montreal was old Montreal is gorgeous. Those cobblestone streets. We shot in a fort. The dungeons you saw, there really were horrible things that happened hundreds of years ago. That's an old fort that exists in Montreal, and we're shooting in a underground part of it for the dungeon scenes. And every time you're on a horror film, you got to be cautious, you're what you're invoking. And I would be on that set as the crew left doing my notes for the next day, going, I don't think I want to be in this dungeon, this real dungeon by myself at this point. So I'd have to hurry back to my van and get home.
yeah. It would really be funny if there were spirits come out. You did like actually a behind the scenes movie about making this movie, and then like seeing something like this happen, and you're like,
There are stories about that because, look, magic and manifestation, even in our real lives, it's a real thing. So if we're manifesting evil, I hope we're also manifesting the charm of the protagonists. So there's some balance.
that's awesome. So with Witchboard coming out, is there anything new for you that you can talk about that's coming up after Witchboard?
There are two things. During COVID, we had setbacks for this project as well, and it took a little longer to get it into production and do the things we wanted to do. And during that period, a lot of us were developing our new projects. So I am really just finishing Witchboard. This is a new cut of Witchboard. We had a festival screening early to thank the people in Montreal that helped us shoot it. Shot in Montreal and of course New Orleans. Um, but so I'm loaded with two things I'd like to do next, but really right now it's all about Witchboard for me. And I
Awesome.
encourage our fans to go to Witchboard Movie 2025. And we're getting some really wild little quickie shots out there on TikTok, which is a new thing for me, and it's quite fun to see.
That's awesome. Well, I hope people do get to see this new reimagining, and it might make them want to see the original. If for those who see this and then like, oh, this is a reimagining of the original, that might make them eventually go see the original movie. So hopefully that'll be the case as well, because this was a great reimagining of the film.
One pleasant thing is Kevin Tenney, who did the original, recently went out with a huge, really great review. He loved the new film, and I don't. They're not really remakes. They're reimagine. The
Yeah,
reimagine. It's really a word. The truth to that word. I
yeah,
want to
that's
give
the
the
best
audience
word to
something they've
use.
never seen before. I tried things I haven't gotten to try in horror films previously, with the effects, with the characters, and with the concepts of magic and dreams. Uh, so I really had fun making this one.
Well, everyone, Witchboard is coming out August 15th in theaters. Definitely check this one out. This is a great one of the great horror films that's going to be out this year. Chuck, you did a great job on this film, and thank you so
Thanks
much
so
for taking the
much.
time to talk about it.
Great questions. And watch out for that black cat behind you.
Yeah, I know I got two over here, so I have to make sure no bad spirits are around.
Oh, those cats are good spirits,
I
folks.
know. All right, Chuck, you take care. You stay awesome.
All right. You too. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, take care.